Norman here, and welcome to the His Nibs channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Hongdian N10. Another gorgeous and very unique design pen from Hongdian, and they're seemingly tireless pen designers. This is going to be followed by a short clip. This particular scene is going to be followed by a short clip from a previous video I did on some of the upcoming Hongdian models, including this one, that I was going to do future videos on. And the reason I'm including part of that is you'll see this little round cutout in the barrel. Goes through both sides, and that's the tiny little ink window that they've designed for this pen. And because I have ink in it now, and the barrel is full of ink, you really can't see anything but that little short previous clip that I recorded from a couple weeks ago will show this pen with some backlighting and with no ink, and you'll be able to see that that little ink window truly does cut through the barrel underneath. So I just wanted to alert you to that fact. And I'll have links, of course, below to where this pen can be purchased if you have interest, the 3 different colors that are available, and we will take it from there. Thanks much, and I'm going to shut myself off now, which I'm sure you're happy about. The N10, Hongdian has really done some amazing pens design this year. This is a metal pen. So this seam has nothing to do with acrylic. It's a design choice. And that's on both sides. And you can see the little circular ink window there. So I haven't filled this yet because I want to do that in my review. But it'll be interesting to see, depending on the color, how obvious the ink level is through that little window. And this has a black number 8 nib. So a large nib like the Jinhao 9019 or the Jinhao X159. But something really exciting to me is this has a ebony feed. I was 99% sure it was, and not an ebony feed, sorry, ebonite feed. 99% it was an ebonite feed just from its appearance. But then I brought it to my nose, and there was no question. You can smell the ebonite rubber. So that's a wonderful addition that Hongdian has made. And then the N11, which Let's take a look at the Hongdian N10 with one of my infinite number of camera phone experiments, lighting and positioning and all that stuff. And this dual camera function on my phone so that you can see me. I know that's exciting to all of you as I talk. So Hongdian is continuing to amaze me. Every model they come out with is unique and different than the previous model. And their fit and finish continues to improve and impress. Especially today, as I was looking at some of my older Hongdians, which actually got very little use because I have so many damn pens and have to write with so many damn pens. And this was always one of my favorites because of the bunny rabbit on the cap. This was the N7. And again, got very little use. It's basically been sitting in a pen drawer most of this time. And I noticed that, and let me see if I can easily increase the close-up, and why can't I do that? Hey, anyway, I noticed that, and I don't know if this is going to show, especially since it's a very dark cap, but the finish at the base of the cap is starting to flake a little bit and wear. And that, again, is with very little use. They've produced some really terrific designs and pen models in the past. There we go. And I was quite surprised to see that some of their older ones were not holding up as well as I thought they would, with very little use. The same here with the, so many numbers, and so this is the N8, the Gray Rabbit. The N7, which is showing up a little bit better because it's not so dark, has the same issue at the base of the cap. And again, a little hard to see unless I can magnify this further. Let me try one more time. It's a slider on my phone screen, and most of the time it doesn't slide. There we go. There we go. Lighting, focusing. It's a tough life, let me tell you. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Very hard to see. Right at the base of the cap ring, it's starting to lose its rose gold overlay. And again, this is not a heavily used pen. So I mention this because it surprised me. But also, every pen they come out with, they're improving on things like this, on fit and finish. So maybe they used very, very thin rose gold covering on the steel nib and the steel of the cap ring. But that was a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and they're really improving since, which is wonderful. So back to this very interesting pen. This is one of 3 colors. And what is this color? I wrote it down somewhere. Oh well, I'll add it later. Green, obviously. There's a red and there's a blue. They each have their own special names. One thing that they've done with this, which is very interesting, very attractive, is when you take a look at the D1, it's a very shiny overlay and chrome. And they've darkened it for the N10 and the N11. And it makes it very attractive, this darkened metal. And there's that little porthole ink window, which you can't see anything because the pen is full now with a green ink. But trust me, it's transparent. And I'm going to attach at the beginning of this video the pen before I filled it, so you can see the dual-sided porthole and see directly through the pen. Anyway, very attractive. Cap band. Every pen they're doing now is unique in design. I don't know how big their design department is or how many people they have designing their pens, but everyone is so different. It's very impressive. Now you'll notice a design element on this pen, which is this decorative line that goes on the barrel, goes the length of the barrel and the cap and both sides. And actually, when I was looking more closely, it's actually that design motif is continued on the section as well. Not something that they had to do. I haven't seen anyone else do anything quite like this. And that the creativity is very impressive. One thing that I found, at least with my pen, is that to have it perfectly aligned, such as that, or almost perfectly, the cap isn't 100% tight at this point. Nothing I can really demonstrate on camera because it's very slight. But in order to get fully sealed, I have to turn like so. And I don't know what this is adding, having my mug on this video, but we'll give it a try once. So this is an aluminum, and you can see the swirling pattern that they have somehow been able to create within this aluminum alloy. It's really a satiny finish too. Really pretty amazing. So what I was most impressed with was taking off the cap. Not so much the black nib. So as I've expressed before, I've had flaking with some other black nibs in time, over time. Those were Monteverdi nibs, and hopefully Hongdian has done a better job with the durability of their black nibs than Monteverdi did, at least several years ago. This beautiful number 8 nib and an actual ebonite feed, which is really terrific. I've been hoping that they and other Chinese companies would start using ebonite again as their feeds, for their feeds, rather than the plastic we've all grown used to. And I've seen a couple of videos on this pen where the reviewer has questioned whether it's ebonite. They thought so from appearance, and as did I. But as soon as I brought the feed to my nose and took a little sniff, there was no doubt. You get the hard rubber scent that confirms that. And today, looking back through some of my other Hongdian pens that I haven't reviewed or even inked yet, I was very surprised to find that the 1860, again, these black pens don't show up that wonderfully. This 1860 Max pen, which I will do a review of, I hope, in the not too distant future. It's been waiting patiently. I was examining it, and this is from probably a year and a half or 2 years ago, and by gosh, and by golly, they have an ebonite feed on this model as well. And again, I did the confirmatory sniff test, and there's no doubt. All the other Hongdians I have that I've looked at are typical plastic feeds. I had initially thought that they chose to go to ebonite on the N10 because this was their first use of the larger number 8 size nib. But that is not true, as I found with the 1860 Max, which is again an older pen model with a number 6 nib and ebonite feed. So I hope they keep that up. I've always preferred vintage pens with their ebonite feeds. I felt the flow was often better. And so that's that. What else did I want to say? I made some notes here, which you can now see me looking down at, which I'm sure is probably impressive to everyone watching. Obviously, this is a piston filler, and again, the ink window is serving no useful function at the moment, but as I use up ink in the pen, I'm sure I can see it. I will be able to see a little bit of sloshing as the ink reservoir begins to go down. So let me stop at this point and maybe do a scene or two with another camera angle. Okay, that one's back to 1x. And thanks for bearing with me as I continue to try to find optimal video approaches, camera angles, lighting. I'm doing this late at night, so I'm not getting any natural light, which I should perhaps do with this pen. But this is the N10, another terrific, really terrific design from Hongdian, and they are kicking butt. Jinhao and Asvine are doing great jobs too, to name a couple of other Chinese companies. But what's so amazing about Hongdian is the rapidity with which they come out with new models, and each model is so different. I mean, it's a future reviews. The N11, there are some commonalities, the darkened clip and ring and so forth, but what they've done with the aluminum here is amazing. This is a cartridge converter pen, and there are definitely some design similarities, but the cap bands are different. The clips are different. The positioning of the clips are different. Well, we'll get to this in the future. And then the N9, which I actually got most recently, is again a cartridge converter, but a resin pen, a number of different colors, and again a totally different type of clip. This one has one of the long knife nibs, which I have on my Gray Rabbit pen, and they've taken that long knife nib from the Gray Rabbit. Hopefully you can see that. There's the Bunny Rabbit nib, which is very attractive, and I like quite a bit. So that's all for this scene, and we'll see what else I can come up with. And as you can see, the reflection on my pate. I'm not actually bald. I have bought a trimmer, and I've been trimming it very short. I like it. Don't have to mess with hair anymore. Okay, I'm obviously rambling at this point, so see you in a bit. Okay, before I start writing with the N10, I wanted to look at the in close-up, the flaking that I was talking about on the N8. And it's most prevalent here. Again, the lighting against this dark pen is difficult. But you may see sections that are not completely black. And that's what I was talking about. Again, very hard to see on that. Very dark pen, so you just have to take my word for it. Okay, now let's move back to the N10. And you may be able to see on the nib around the breather hole is a design that Hongdian has been using a lot of their nibs. And they describe it as a knot, K-N-O-T. And it's indicates happiness, reunion, and good luck. Like many, many... Let me put this here for a second. Like many, many Chinese symbols. It's going to be easier to see on this N7 because of the rose gold colored nib. Okay, that's pretty apparent. So what my kind of looks like a flower, and that's how my wife sees it, who is from Hong Kong. But on Hongdian's pen listings and website, they describe this as a Chinese knot, again indicating happiness, reunion, and good luck. So that's that. Oh, okay. I also, in the interim, this video is taking a little bit longer than promised because I forgot that I had to watch football playoffs this past weekend. So hopefully you'll excuse me. This is called grass green, this color. The red is called peony. Some sites call it wine red, but peony fits the red color better. And then sea blue for the blue pen. And if you follow the links below to actual places that you can purchase these pens if interested, you'll see additional pictures. And of course, I'll include those photos in my newsletter, which this video will become a part. So, as far as inking this pen, I have broken out a box of Levenger inks that I'd gotten years ago, 12 different colors. I've used a couple in recent videos. This one is gemstone green. And I've always loved these bottles because of the fact that they have, let me see if I can open this behind the camera without spilling everything all over. And if this is not too full, maybe you can see, well, not really. You can see it's like a plastic rim inside the bottle there. And suspended from that is a little plastic filling unit. So really what you do is, if you're filling, you just turn this over. That fills that plastic suspended unit, comes to about here, and that enables you to very effectively fill your pen, and you're not scratching it potentially on the interior of the glass, and enables, when this gets quite low, to get the very last bits of ink and make them accessible for filling within that included plastic cup. So again, this is gemstone green. Now let's see if I have the right focus for a little bit of writing here. And I don't have the right distance. Let me see if I can turn this down. There we go. Sort of. It's not staying. Okay. It's reached the limit of its downward angle. It's a little brass guy sitting on, this is all made from brass nuts and so forth. Sitting on the pot, reading a book, wearing a cowboy hat with a pen holder next to him. I can't get these anymore. This is from like 20 years ago. The person who started to produce it decided not to continue, even though I was anxious to order as many as he could produce. I guess it was taking him too long to do so. All right, let me move this way up here. See if any of this is going to be legible. Actually, let me move the focus out a little bit. That way. Okay. So this is, see if we can see it, the nib size, and I can't see it through the camera because it's so damn dark. I have to look at my loop for 1 second. Yeah, this is a fine. All Hongdian nibs are fine, no matter the nib size. So I may just write in the future videos before I start filming, because this is so awkward to do it this way. So this is the Hongdian N10, and it's a black F nib. The color I have, the pen is grass green, which you won't be able to read even when I pull up the camera because I can't see what I'm doing. And it's a aluminum alloy construction, really kind of a satin finish. And again, we have that decorative line on both sides of the pen, very unique. Continued on the cap. Darkened trim, which is really very attractive to me. And part of the reason I think that they selected the black nib. Ebonite feed, which in a couple of years when we have Sensorama videos, I'll be able to let you smell the hard rubber feed. Piston fill with a little ink window, very little, and until I use up some more of this ink, you're not going to be able to see anything through that window, because no matter what position I put it in, it's full. I don't think even a bright yellow ink would necessarily show up. Such a small, tiny window. And what else do I want to say? Oh, this is as I said, a number 8 nib. And let's see. Smooth as always, not much flex, although it is a little bit softer in touch and feel than a typical Chinese nib. And both Asvine and Hongdian this past year have done wonderful things with their nibs. And they're not the Chinese nails that we've been used to for the last 25 years. And I think that's pretty much bringing you up to speed. And please ask any questions that you might have or start any discussion about this pen for those of you who have obtained it in the comments section below. Please like the video. Please subscribe to His Nibs 1. Please collect funds to buy me a 1963 Jaguar XKE convertible in British Racing Green, which I've been asking for since I was about 6 and still haven't gotten. But if enough of you, excuse me, contribute to that, maybe I'll be able to drive it on the way to my eventual funeral, should I have one. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and probably the next Hongdian video will be one of these two gems, either the N9 or the N11. So until then, be well and enjoy your fountain pens. Take care. Bye-bye.